123.ie sponsors the 6 o'clock show.
You are all very welcome back to the 6 o'clock show. Now, our next guest is an actor, musician and writer who wowed the world in the Netflix hit, who is Aaron Carter.
Absolutely. He is now embarking on the role of a lifetime paying homage to one of his favourite singers. Please welcome back to the 6 o'clock show, Peter M. Smith.
Yes.
Hello.
You are starring in the stage production Moonlight, the Phil Lynott Enigma. Tell us all about it, Peter.
I mean, look, Brian, it's a dream come true. I mean, everybody knows, anybody that knows me knows I've always wanted to do it. I've had kind of 2 cracks at the whip when I was younger, 2 opportunities that never materialised. And now all of a sudden, with the right script, you know, the right people behind it, I mean, John's script is incredible. Yeah, it's finally going to happen.
You said it yourself, right script, right people behind it.
Right time.
Yes, and right timing is everything, because you've been, playing the iconic rock star has been something you've been working towards for a while now. How did it feel when you finally got that call saying, look, it's final, you've got the role?
Strange you should say it, Cassie, because, to be honest, the producers called my agent looking for another actor. Right. Another guy, you know. So Anne was like, no, you've got to see Peter. Yeah. And they were like, who? Whatever. Spent an hour with them and they were like, all right, we get it now. He's from Drimna. Yeah. He's a Dublin 12 lad and he kind of comes across in the same style. So, yeah, it worked out.
Justice.
It's another accent, another glorious accent.
I like the way, though, how you reflect on that, saying they actually called your agent for someone else.
Absolutely.
But your agent backed you, and they were like, who? And they were very much like, when you meet him, you'll get it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, you know, it's a lot of people... I remember when I met Jim Sheridan, I walked in, I deliberately didn't want him to know that I had been a singer before. I went in, I actually read a poem, to put a nice big dramatic pause in the middle of it, and then finished. And he just put his hand in the air and went, tell everybody else to go home. Bring this lad to the next room. No. And you get excited about those things, and then unfortunately that didn't work out. But, you know, I think a lot of people think I'm putting it on. No, I'm like, I'm from Drimna. Yeah. This is the way we are. Yeah. I mean, I've got a Stephen Murphy T-shirt on. Yeah. You know, he's my favourite artist. He's from Crumlin. Yeah. You know, we have our own culture. Yeah. We have, you know, we do our own thing, and we're very much almost like carbon copies of each other. Oh,
absolutely. And you mentioned Jim Sheridan there, so I got to ask, because this was about to become a film with Jim Sheridan. You were about to play Phil, and through that you actually got to meet Phil's mother, Philomena. She gave you her blessing.
Wow, that's incredible.
What did that feel like?
Well, I think, you know, when I went out, was brought up by Ollie Hennessy to meet her. It was incredible because, you know, you're sitting there and you're looking at me. She was a real mammy, a lovely, you know, a down-to-earth Dublin mammy. She spent 10 minutes talking to me, 2 of those minutes just staring at me. And I was, you know, a lot younger then. And then after she was like, OK, love, it's great. Like, I really want to talk to your mother. You know, I was like, OK. So she went down to the hall, asked me for the number. She spent 2 hours on the phone with my mum. 2 hours. Because I think she wanted to see if my mother's journey and her journey were similar. Yeah. Obviously, Philomena Lynott was probably one of the bravest women ever. Yeah. Considering the time that her pregnancy occurred, it was practically a lynchable offence, you know, to have a black child. Yeah. You'll understand. Yeah. And she wanted to see if my mother had similar struggles, and she wanted to know if I was the real McCoy or if I had been one of these kids that was raised with a silver spoon in his mouth. When she discovered that wasn't the case, she then was like, "Yeah, I think you guys are the real deal." And bless her, she kept in touch with me, man. You know, for a long, long time. She was different. Yeah.
What did it mean for you, Peter, getting a thumbs up from Philomena and also having that access to her, that one-on-one time, her, you know, speaking to your mother? What does that mean to you?
I think, you know, she gave me 2 books of poetry, which I've never really told, you know, a lot of people. She signed them. But she gives, and not just me, she gives people. She gave. It's hard to imagine that we're talking about her in the past tense. Yeah. She gave people our time. I mean, fans of Thin Lizzy used to knock on her door and she'd bring them in, feed them. Wow. Where did you come from? And the further they came from, well, you'd have to stay here. Wow. You know, she became a mother to an awful lot of people. So kind. A woman from a different time. Because she knows what it was like. She knew what it was like to be given the cold shoulder.
We all know this would make such an outstanding movie. Do you think it's possible? Will that happen?
I think there's an awful lot of interest now.
Yeah.
Considering John's script, I mean, John Merrigan, gifted writer, he's written a Beckettian script that's an honour piece. I mean, Brian, too much, and I've said this in my statement, too much has been made in the past of the salacious side of, you know, what rock stars go through. And quite frankly, the Lynott family are entitled to their privacy when it comes to whatever, you know, Philip, however he lived his life. We should focus, and John's script focuses only on the art. You know, Philip as an artist, and it proposes to place Philip on the pantheon of the greatest Anglo-Irish poets and writers of all time, the likes of Oscar Wilde, the likes of Brendan Behan. John has hit the nail on the head, staying away from all the personal stuff. Because I have daughters. You know, I've a daughter, Molly in Arklow. She wants to be an actress. I have 3 daughters in Spain. If anything happened to me tomorrow, I would want my kids to remember me as an artist, not as, oh, my dad used to have an ex-girlfriend here. None of that stuff. It's nobody's business. So for me, I think there's a great chance, Brian, that this will be a film because it's focused on the art and because of the way John's script treats the piece. You know, it's Philip is supposed to have passed on. He's in a limbo state. He meets these amazing characters, a little bit like Waiting for Godot. You know, so there's an awful lot of dramatic license within that art, and of course, you know, it's resolved by, you know, putting Philip in that rightful place as a great artist.
As a musician yourself, you know, and taking on this role, have you found learning the songs, any songs that are difficult, that are harder than others?
Well, I'm getting great help from the great Larry Hogan, who's going to play with me later on at Dublin Studio Hub, one of the most progressive studios probably in Ireland. And I have to say, because what we're trying to do, we're not trying to put our own spin or give versions of what Thin Lizzy have done. We're going to copy exactly to the note all of the songs, because we're trying to bring nostalgia, trying to give people who are nostalgic and miss Philip that slice. So yeah, it's a challenge because again, we're not rolling out there and giving versions. We're bringing the authentic feel.
Well, speaking of the music, growing up as a D12 boy, as a Drumna boy, you only lived around the corner from Phil's house. What was the hype like around Thin Lizzy? And like, were they a massive musical inspiration for you growing up as well?
Most conversations about music in Dublin, certainly in Crumlin and Drimna, start with Thin Lizzy. So any band that's coming through will automatically be compared to, does the front man have the charisma of Philip Lynott? He doesn't? He does? Okay. It's a bit like Aslan. If you look at Aslan, you know, I think they were successful because Christy had that energy, you know, that Philip had in a different way. So yeah, the musical conversations in Dublin, in Drimna, in Crumlin, start and end with Thin Lizzy.
Of course, we were first introduced to you on Pop Stars, The Rivals. It was a massive show on telly around 2002, the same series as Girls Aloud that went on to win the show. What are your memories of that time, Peter?
I remember, to be honest with you, I always make great friends behind the camera as well as in front, as you know, Brian.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember the techies working on that were just such lovely people, because I had horrible experiences. I had a horrible experience on Irish Pop Stars. It just was an unpleasant experience. I got to meet nice people like Nadine Coyle.
Of course.
And she was lovely.
Yeah.
And I really liked Brian Ormond, you know what I mean, people like that. But I felt like we were kind of being experimented on.
Right.
Again, you know what that's like.
Yeah, totally.
But when I went to do some work with ITV, it was just, these were people who were secure in creating a TV show, and they wanted the best for you. So for me, it was an eye-opening experience. It was great.
Being in the role of a lifetime, do you think everything that happened was meant to happen to kind of lead you to this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be honest with you. My mother always says, what's meant for you never passes you by. And, you know, when I got into kind of acting then again, after, because I started off in musical theatre, you know, then when I kind of got the break with Netflix, with who was Aaron Carter.
Yeah.
Then I met Jason Figgis and was cast in the lead of Code Red, which is a movie that comes out next year.
Yeah, the great.
And then next week I fly off to, it's busy, I'm flying off to Bilbao to play another villain in a Paramount film.
You do it so well, Dan.
I know, I'm horrible.
Before we let you go, you are performing for us at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Tell us about the song you're performing.
Dublin, by Philip Lynott, obviously, and by Thin Lizzy, an early song. Which really, for me, encapsulates everything it is to know that you have to leave where you're from to get where you but not wanted to go.
Thank you so much. Please give Peter a round of applause. Thank you very much.
You can catch watch Moonlight, the Philip Lynott Enigma at Vickers Street in April 2025. Head on over to ticketmaster.ie for more info.
Now, don't move a muscle. Next, we're chatting to Mother Nature herself. Amy Lana will be here live. See you in a bit.
See you in 3.